Hello, dear souls. This is Chris Maddox from the Wild Woman Project, and I'm speaking to you today blissfully from my front porch because I always do at new moon time, and the new moon is upon us. The new moon in Pisces is almost here. And, the first thing as we begin to sort of tune into this new moon and the gifts and the insights that it has to offer us, we can really consider the season, Piscean season, when the sun is in Pisces as it is now, and when the moon will be in Pisces, will be on the new moon on Tuesday, um, and you know it is the end of winter. It is not the depths of winter. It is not the beginning of spring. It is that right before time, and you can begin to hear life happening inside and out. You might hear on this video that there's children playing, which I think is perfect. It's the sound of new life beginning to sprout up and grow. You might walk outside and see a little bit of green starting to come out, and it's just this time where if we really tune in, we can begin to feel the essence of end, beginning, end, beginning. The end, the close of a cycle. Pisces is the 12th sign in the zodiac. It is the last, this is the final sign in the zodiac. So, in a way, the astrological year is ending. And by the time the new moon in Aries comes, it will be beginning again. We will start over. So, it really begins with that spring. So here we are sitting right before the sort of spring steps in, and we start over, and it is that time. It's very similar, I think, um, in feeling to the time, December 31st of our year, when many people are beginning to dream of, what will the new year bring, and all of those kinds of thoughts. And I think the natural world speaks to us at this time with that same kind of energy. And perhaps for me personally, it feels a little stronger at this time because it's in alignment with what's happening in nature. Something is happening, something is about to happen, and this Piscean new moon gives us the opportunity to sort of step into what is our dream, what is our vision for the coming cycle, the astrological start, the astrological beginning. So we're right before. So as you are beginning to tune into this new moon, you might just begin to contemplate and feel the season. Feel the season. It is an in-between season in astrology that's called the mutable signs. And Pisces is a mutable sign. In so many ways, it's sort of standing with one foot in winter and one foot in spring. um, this idea of two plays a big role in our theme of the month here at the Wild Woman Project. So at the Wild Woman Project, we gather at the new moon time. It's the heart and soul of the Wild Woman Project is this international network of Wild Woman moon circles that are happening in communities all over the world, where essentially we take a theme. We're going to about to talk about this theme. Take a theme, and it's the idea, the attunement. It's what we gather around, and we delve into it through visualization, through sharing with one another, through some form of a ritual. And, there's also the new moon companion for those of you who prefer to just go your own way, or who don't happen to have a circle near you yet. You have this opportunity to sort of delve in either in a circle form or in a virtual retreat sort of style. And the idea is we're all connected in this theme, and we're all connected in what our focus is. And so there's a beauty to that. So not only are we having the individual journey, we are doing it together in some form. So our theme, which is also, which is always inspired by the astrological placement of the moon. So this new moon in Pisces, watery Pisces, magical, dreamy, mystical Pisces, our theme is swimming with the mermaids. So if you've been around the project for a while, you might have noticed that each new moon, for a while now, we've been calling on these feminine archetypes. And we really are looking at the archetypes, feeling into them, getting to know them, learning from them as a way to sort of deeply understand the different energies of each astrological sign and have a different understanding of different dimensions within ourselves. So talk about a theme like swimming with the mermaids, right? We're getting into territory that's a little different than other archetypes that we may have met in real life. Like a mother is an archetype, and that's something that we may have seen. A priestess, we may have met a priestess or been a priestess. But we get into mermaids. I mean, I'll go out on a limb here and say probably no one watching this video has seen a mermaid in real life. And so that begins to speak to sort of the otherworldly, mythic attunement of the Piscean energy. So we're talking about this idea of two, of this standing between the seasons. If you look to the constellation of Pisces, it's two fish tied together with a rope or a string, and they're swimming in different directions. And so this idea of two is something to contemplate. Two, winter, spring, water, air, water, earth, and the mermaid archetype being part fish and part human. And so we start to step into, as we begin to explore and tune into this archetype, not only does it bring us that sense of sort of like delightful childhood fairy tale wonderment, it begins to, as we contemplate the mermaid, as we feel into the mermaid, as we perhaps do the visualization in circle or in the new moon companion, as we meet the mermaid, mermaids, we begin to allow ourselves to get a little dreamier, particularly those of us who are kind of earthy, earthbound. I'm in that club, very earthy. We can say, oh, mermaid, that's silly, that's just fluff. And I want to invite you, if that's sort of the thoughts that are going through your head, because it certainly was, I started to approach this theme, was a little bit of my inner voice too, was to allow yourself to lift your feet off the floor and think of that watery Piscean energy. Let it carry you. Let sort of the sense of magic sort of sweep you off of your feet. Because what begins to be revealed when we allow ourselves to just sort of stretch out in our inner waters, and our inner waters being sort of our emotional life, our imaginative life, our intuitive life, the inner world of inner vision and imagery. These are all the stuff of Pisces. As we do that, it opens up a sense of wonderment, a sense of magic, a sense of allowing oneself to really dream, not cutting ourselves off at the legs and right before we have a dream, right as it's on the tip of our tongue and we're about to say it, we say, oh, that isn't possible, oh, that is trite, or that is silly, or whatever the thing is, where we stop ourselves. We want to allow ourselves this new moon to float, and to allow ourselves to float back into our inner life and believe in magic, and believe in a life beyond what we see on the surface. You'll often hear people talk about the Piscean archetype in relationship to the mystic. The mystic being one who doesn't see in two, doesn't see that there is physical and there is spirit. To the mystic, it is all one. So in so many ways, the Piscean archetype is taking things that are two and bringing them together, um, seemingly two. So the inner life and the outer life is one of those other examples of two things that seem separate on the surface, but perhaps have a deep relationship. So it's something to tune into today. To on the new moon, as you're beginning to sort of step into this, is the bringing together of those things that seem separate. And so we'll be focusing on dreams, the idea of story, lullaby, um, childlike magic, and honoring this time being sort of like the end of the astrological year, in preparation for the beginning, for the spring, for the new life to emerge. So, if this is of interest to you, if you want to go deeper with this, there are trained Wild Woman Circle facilitators all over the world. You can find a circle near you. There are links underneath this video. You can join me for a virtual retreat, which is something that you can download and do like now if you wanted to do. And that's a deeper talk of this theme. It is a visualization. And then there's also a dream sheet where you'll create a very specific intention for this cycle based on that journey. And if there's not a Wild Woman Moon Circle near you, or if you are feeling called to become a Wild Woman Moon Circle leader and gather the women in your community, you might consider spring training, which is coming up in April, and registration is open for that. It's all online. We have women from all over the world. It's a beautiful 7-week journey. And so if that's of interest to you, check that out, register, etc., etc., etc. So have a beautiful new moon time. However you do it, just carve out just a little space for you to dream and to create an intention for this cycle, something that you can nurture into being, whether it's a particular new habit that you want to cultivate, or if it's a goal or a project, or a dream that you want to bring to life. This would be the time to get really clear on what that is. So Circle will help you, your new moon companion will help you, or simply sitting with yourself and with this contemplation here, you can come up with something juicy that comes from within. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you are not on the Wild Woman Project newsletter, you can go over to thewildwomanproject.com and you'll receive additional support throughout the month, throughout the moon cycle, to help you in your wild womanness and to help with this idea of syncing to the moon. So I'm Chris Maddox, and I'll see you over at thewildwomanproject.com.